What's up? You are now listening to Americanized, a storytelling podcast where you'll hear from eclectic first and second generation Americans share their stories and real life experiences as children of immigrants. What's up, Ken? Welcome to another episode of the In the Kitchen series, where the stories simmer slowly, the culture is rich, and the roots run deep. I'm your host, Roslyn, and if you're a first-generation American, or the children of immigrants, you know that the kitchen is never just a kitchen. It's a meeting place, a classroom, a memory vault, a battleground, and a safe place. Today, we're talking about the size of our plates, bowls, pots, pans, casseroles, all of that, the containers in which we hold our foods. So I grew up in a big family with 4 other siblings, and we're all pretty close in age, so we really did grow up together. The dining room table is a place where we connected and continue to stay connected. We connect over meals, just chatting, just like a really good meeting place for us, where there's a seat for everybody at a literal table. And my mom, being a mother of 5 kids, meant cooking big portions of meals, not just to feed everybody, but to also have leftovers too. Growing up, I quickly learned that whatever my mom was cooking on Sunday or during the week was for that night and the day after that and the day after that and the day after that until the meal was gone. So what did dinners look like for us? My mom always cooked traditional Ivorian foods, which includes white rice or fried rice, futu or a chike, and this was usually eaten with some type of stewed meat in a peanut sauce or an okra sauce or a palm oil sauce. With the achake, you eat it with fried fish, plantains, so many good things. But usually, especially for her kids, us growing up, it was white rice and some type of sauce. And let me tell you, whatever sauce was in the pot was pretty much like the sauce of the week, or kind of like how restaurants have their soup of the day, except this wasn't just for the day. This was a sauce that would last for more than a day. When you have a big family and you have a lot of mouths to feed, and you probably have limited time to cook a new meal each night, my mom would cook a large portion, and that would sustain us for a couple days or a week, and then she would cook a new batch of white rice or sauce. So with that experience, I took that into my marriage, and I think this will be what I do when I do have kids. But with just me and my husband, we do cook new meals pretty much every night and rarely have leftovers. But anytime I visit my mom, or there's an event, or, she just has food, we always have to take the leftovers, and it's always good. And this happens a lot, especially around the holidays, where it's natural to just have a lot of food and a lot of leftovers. So for any family gathering, if she's having guests over, if she's just cooking, I think she's just used to cooking a lot now. And what's interesting is that things are different where I've moved out of my house. My 2 younger sisters don't eat meat, and so rarely eat her cooking, traditional cooking. So her cooking style has changed over the years, especially in the last maybe 5 to 10 years. So I've definitely seen that change, but I never want to miss out on her home cooking, especially when she does make large amounts of food. And I know that whenever my in-laws visit, or there's an opportunity for my mom to cook for my in-laws, she does cook a lot of food for them that will last them, a couple of days, because when she cooks, a meal is not just for the night, it's for a couple of days. It's so important that there are leftovers, it seems. And I'm not anti-leftovers. I love having leftovers. I love the idea of cooking a lot so you have a lot left over to eat. Traditionally and culturally, in our West African culture, you do cook for not just you, your immediate family, but that can extend to the community. You're just having more of a community mindset with cooking too. So always wanting to have more food is better than less food. And even at parties, I love going to African parties and seeing the trays and trays and trays of food. It's like one thing about African parties is you just can't run out of food at a party, you know. So I remember growing up and going to African parties and just trays and trays of food, and you would just take as much food as you want, take as much food for your to-go container, your takeaway container, go back for thirds and fourths and don't feel guilty about it. Just eat, load up, fill up as much as you can and don't feel guilty about it. Because their food is just that good and you need to savor it and have more for the next day. You don't want to just eat. I also remember that as years went on, my mom kind of shifted from cooking the traditional foods to cooking more American foods or Americanized Italian foods. So she got into making spaghetti and meatballs and lasagna and different pastas, and it really got into like American food where she would make cheeseburgers and hot dogs and fried chicken sometimes and French fries. Yeah, we had a wide range of food. And we also got into like the contrast of like, okay, there's a frozen pizza in the oven, but on the top of the stove, she is still cooking the rice and the sauces for my dad or for herself. Well, there's a few frozen pizzas in the oven for her kids to eat. And so even with the American foods or the Americanized Italian foods, she still would make large portions of it. I always remember her making big trays of lasagna. And the funny thing about my mom's lasagna, A, it's really good for, African women making lasagna. And B, she does it interestingly where she puts the last layer on top, kind of like a cover, kind of like a pie, the last pasta sheet on top without adding the sauce and the meat and the cheese, which I learned was kind of I guess the right way to do it. But nevertheless, it didn't make or break her meal. It was just interesting when I started eating lasagnas elsewhere that the top was more cheesy instead of just the pasta sheet on top. Yeah, so lasagna would be for a couple days until the tray was empty. Spaghetti and meatballs would be, in the fridge for a couple of days until we were done eating that. Pizzas are pretty instant. Hot dogs, you don't really leave those things over. And then she got into grilling too, and, there's always extra food, always, always, always. And it's not just for, like, the next day, but also later in the day. Holidays, when she cooks for Christmas or Thanksgiving, my, oh my. I mean, this is typical, but imagine the scale of Thanksgiving meals pretty much every day and the amount of leftovers that you get from a Thanksgiving dinner or a Christmas dinner on a daily. The amount of food that is cooked on Thanksgiving dinner or Christmas dinner is pretty much what my mom would cook weekly to feed her family of 5 kids plus husband. And that's why there's leftovers, because she cooked that much for that many people. And that's tiring. I can't imagine. I'm not there yet. I don't know if I will get to that point. But yeah, that is the scale of which she cooks, for like, even if it's a small occasion. I think she's just so used to cooking more and doing more and cooking a lot for a lot of people that she's so used to it. And she will always have leftovers, and her leftovers reheat really well. And yeah, now I want to go home and eat some of her cooking. Thank you so much for listening. Hope to catch you in the next episode. Be sure to find and follow Americanized on Instagram. All original music produced by Stubborn Soul. You can find him on all music listening platforms at STBRNSAL.